Good afternoon, everyone. So I'm sitting at my table having my lunch, and I get a message telepathically. Um, so I listen to it. So whoever sent that message, um, it is. Well, let me tell you a little bit. So I was talking to my daughter, and I was listening to the actual book that that person sent to me telepathically. I am not judging Abraham. What I'm seeing is the scenarios. So I'm gonna give you another scenario. Sarah, Abraham, and Hagar should have had a more community when it came to their children. What Sarah could have said from the very beginning with her slave person, hey, you're going to stay with my husband, you're going to have a child, and I'm going to take it and raise it. But she didn't. She allowed Hagar to have that relationship with Abraham and his child. She felt like the third wheel. I should say the fourth wheel. So then here she comes. You got to get rid of her and him too. If Abraham had the faith that he claimed he had, he would have never laid down with Hagar. What he caused was a dilemma. He kept everybody was kept separate, not as a unity, as a group, as a family. I'm just gonna toss her to the desert with nothing. He had everything in the world to give her, but he sent her out there with nothing. Not a tent, not a donkey, no extra water, nothing. He could have even took her out to the middle of the desert and set her up for life, hang the meat, some cows, some all kinds of things, but he didn't. So my point is that if there was unity with Hagar, Sarah, um, and Abraham, you know, Hagar may not even wanted to do it in the first place because nobody talked about how she was feeling about all this, and I see the picture. It's clear as day. There's a whole new season there. When we look at something with face value, it's easy to judge that. But there's a lot in this story specifically that brings out different dilemmas. You know, when Sarah didn't, when when they said in there that that Father in heaven agreed with Sarah, that bothers me because how can God agree to something like that? Remember, we're supposed to be all one. We're all family. You know, we're not allowed to judge other people. We're not allowed to do this. We're not allowed to do that. But those scenarios are in there for a reason because God knew the paths that were coming. He knew for sure that this was going to be a problem because even today's society, there are more single parents than anything. Half the fathers don't even stay engaged. Her dad stayed engaged until he met somebody, gone, and had another child. But he had two before us, which he didn't pay child support for. I did provide that for her, and when he didn't want to pay anymore, he's like, nobody had control of his money, and he took care of what he had to take care of. But I did the right thing for her because I know what it's like not to have because it happened to me, right? But there are people who don't give a crap what happens to the other mother and child or father and child. Nope, they don't. They don't even ever look back. They don't even call to say, hey, how's my kid? How's he doing? Nothing. That is my argument here. I'm not judging Abraham. I'm judging the whole situation. Not judging it. I'm trying to analyze it. I'm trying to make sense of all this because, we're all going through it. But we're idolizing a book without really seeing all the dilemmas in it. I mean, there's a whole lot in here. Abraham, he he was to sacrifice his only child, right? I've heard people make comments about that. He was doing what he was called to do because his faith. He believed in God, and then they provided the lamb for him. Because I can see the angel up here. There's a lot of preachers out there. They talk about it. You're a sinner. You're everything but good, and that needs to stop because we are good. All of us. We may make mistakes, and we're going to learn from them. Trust me, we are. And it's important to know that smart people are trying to understand something that's in how many pages in the Bible? Let me see. Well, it depends on what book you read too, because the Old Testament has its own pages, and then you have the New Testament. Maybe a 4,000 page book. But we have every right to analyze it and to study it and to talk about what we're finding, because Father says so. And I go to God for all my answers and stuff. And I'm even finding out things about my own family that's heartbreaking. And I'm still struggling with some of those things because they taught me to love, and not lie and follow the rules. And I did follow them to the T. I'm a truth speaker. I'm speaking. But you're the crazy one. I'm going to send you messages so I can condemn you when no one's looking. Trust me, God sees everything you do. Everything. I don't care if you do it through your mind or wherever you're going to do it. But I will always defend where I stand in my faith. Well, not defend. He'll defend it for me. But I wanted to talk about this because if you want to talk to me about the scriptures, come and see me. We'll talk together. We'll battle. We'll do whatever you want to do. And I like battling because it helps me to hash. It helps me to learn, more or to remember what I was taught. Because I love Father more than anything, and I will always stand by what He's done for my family. I'll leave that with you in peace. God bless. And it was James, the book of James.